Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Nitsa and today is all about our hashtag Crochet Through the Decades Cal 2024 and it's all about the 1970s. They were the projects that we created in October and today it's going to be a reveal of everyone's makes. You get the opportunity to vote and then in about a week or so I come back and I tally up all your votes and reveal the winner for October. Now the 1970s was a very exciting time, but before we get started into that, I'd like to just remind you what this cal is all about. So this cal is running for 4 months, so we've had August was the 1950s, September was the 1960s, so we can tick both those off. And now we're going to tick off the 1970s, which was in October. And currently in November, as today is the 10th of November 2024, we're all creating our 1980s makes. But let's focus on the 70s today. It's just so very exciting. Now, what I've asked you all to do is to join me, and I thought, oh my gosh, how amazing that we've all jumped on board this, because it's just been such an exciting time where we've all been reminiscing about the days of old, the days gone past, the wonder days, the great days, and some of you that haven't lived through them like some of us have, you're just enjoying the journey and actually discovering all the amazing things about the decades before. Now I'm sure there's many decades to come that'll be amazing, but the ones that we've lived through should be celebrated, and that's what we're doing here. We're celebrating the decades gone by. So at the end of this cal, which will be at the end of November, because we decided December was going to be the month we concentrate on our Christmas makes, so we didn't want to have many more interruptions with this cal as well. So what I'm hoping to do is get you to all join in, and those of you that do, including the people that have joined in today, by sending me their entries, you'll get your name in this jar here. It's getting very, very full, guys. In actual fact, today we have 18 entries. And then each and every month we'll have one winner. So in here there'll be multiple names, and in here there'll be 4 names, one for each decade. And then at the end of the cal, so sometime early December, I'll draw a name from both jars. So each jar will have a name pulled out, and I will be sending off a Crochet magazine subscription, a digital one, for 12 months to the lucky recipients. Now, as I always say, we're all winners just by joining in. We couldn't do it with all the cheerleaders along the way as well, so thank you for joining us. And of course, every single one of you that votes. I know it's a very, very hard task. I would not imagine having to choose just one, but it's just part of the fun and the journey. So these 2 jars, this one's getting quite full. I've already had to up it in size from this to this. I might even have to go larger. Let's see how we go. So let's pop these down for now. So that's pretty much it. As simple as that. You can create anything that you are inspired to create from the decade for that month. So a few things that might have inspired you for the 1970s could be disco. Look at this, guys. Yes, I do have the disco balls out. I wish you could see the lights on the wall. I actually had a disco light that my children used to use for parties when they were growing up. It would go round and round and the lights would come off it. But of course, I don't know where it is. So I've got these little disco balls and this gorgeous dress. Look at the sleeves on this, guys. Absolutely love this dress. It's actually my mum's dress from the 70s, and there's actually points down the bottom as well, as just like, oh my gosh, can you see that? There's silver on the end there, just like the sleeve. See the look on the sleeves? Oh my gosh, they are stunning. So this dress here is very typical of the 70s, very much a disco dress, if you like. You would wear that out and party. I myself have worn it to a wedding and also fancy dress. So I'm so glad that my mum kept this in her wardrobe and didn't throw it out over the years. So disco was a huge influence, right? Movies like Saturday Night Fever blew up the screens, and to this very day we're still watching it. Star Wars came onto the scene, and then also The Godfather. So they were just some of the movies that we could take inspiration from. The shapes on the dresses and the color palettes, let me just show you this here, guys. So look at the Bee Gees, they were amazing. And was that a better view there for you? Sorry, I'm taking up so much white. So there's some of the clothes from the 1970s. So for example, there were polyester leisure suits, there were jumpsuits. I remember having a jumpsuit, hot pants, tie-dye t-shirts, wide collar shirts, halter tops, and many other, you know, forms of fashion. The colors were amazing from back then. That they're very typical, the colors of the 70s. The afro was definitely a hairstyle that everybody was wanting, you know, to take away from the hairdresser. What else was happening in the 70s? Oh yes, the designs on the, like the patterns on the clothes was more geometric and wavy. So there's a little, you know, representation there of it. So as I said, when I think of the 70s, I definitely think of disco. I definitely think of a time where people were freer. You know, a lot of people also think of flower power, which sort of tipped over from the 60s. It's a little bit blurred at one stage, 60s, end of 60s, early 70s. And then again, you know, as the decades progress, they blend with the next one. So they're just some of the things that, you know, you could have taken inspiration from to create anything you wish. So if you've been following along for the last few months, you'll know that we get projects like wearables, amigurumi, like toys, blankets. It's never ending what you can make, and there is no limit on what you can make, and no restriction other than has to represent the decade that we're talking about. Now you can even go to food. I always love going to food, and I can't believe I didn't mention it this time round. Where are we? Oh, here we go. Pet rocks. Do you guys remember pet rocks? I didn't realize they were from the 70s, that's when they first started. Okay, it's easier when I wear my glasses, obviously. So here we are. Oh, right. Bomb Alaska. I actually love Bomb Alaska. It says here, nothing screams the 70s like sponge ice cream and meringue drenched in rum. Oops, didn't know I had rum, but it burns off when you light it, right? Vol-au-vents, mini ham and pineapple pizzas became popular in the 70s. Scotch eggs, cheese fondue. Again, that sort of like crosses over, doesn't it? Or maybe it is very 70s. Anyway, so they're just some of the areas you could take inspiration from. Now, of course, I made something as well. And you know what? I've been wanting to make this project since I learned to crochet 4 years ago when I started to, you know, reintroduce myself to crochet very, very, like, you know, I was dedicated to it. I always remember having a bikini in the 1970s. I would have been around 12 years old when I remember wearing my bikini. But it's funny, every time I raise that with people of my generation, even if they were a bit older, they still remember wearing a crocheted bikini. Now, I have actually made one to show you today. There are a couple of tweaks that I would do it if I was actually going to wear it, because this one you can wear maybe just as like to dress up nicely if you're, you know, by the water and you're not going to go in. But there are a couple of additions that I would make if I was going to wear in the water. Now, I will not be wearing this bikini, but if one of my, you know, children claims it, they will have the adjustments made to it if they wish. So basically the pattern that I made, so that I can give you all that first and then I'll show you the bikini, is by the YouTube tutorial is called Retro Crochet Stripe Bikini, and it's by It's Marie C. And this is only about a 4-month-old tutorial. I did use my cotton because I thought best to make it in cotton, but not very heavy cotton. I didn't want to make it heavy because imagine if you do wear this in the water, the weight of the water, you know, you might pull it down, although you could tie it very, very tightly around yourself. So I used 100% cotton, and it's just Flinders yarn. And I went for the color palette with the oranges and the yellows, because to me this is really, like, when I think of these colors, I think of the 70s as well. And I did use my 7mm hook. Now in this book here is a bikini that I want to show you, and before I show you everyone's makes, I just want to show you a few little things through this book, because this is a beautiful vintage crochet book that represents quite a vast range of decades that a lot of us has purchased since we've started this cowl. And I just don't want you to miss out, because there is a bikini in there that I started to make, but I was not able to finish it because the pattern is written very, very differently to the way I know how to read patterns. So here is my bikini top here, guys. Now, of course, with a bikini, there you go, they're 2 pieces here, and there's a very long string for the back and the top. And how pretty is that? Let me bring it up close to you. Obviously, you can pull it out as much as you need to, and the color's pulled very, very nicely. Now, this one is very easy to adjust to your size, your body shape. So don't think that this is the only, you know, size to make it. In actual fact, I didn't really use anyone as a real measure. I was just guided by the tutorial. And then here is the bikini bottom. now. Again, this has 2 ties, well, 4 ties in actual fact. So each side you can tie it up, and you can make it as long or as short as you wish. But it is very, very pretty together. Oh, let me see if I can actually hold it together for you. But you get the idea, right, guys? So that is a very, very pretty bikini. Now, if I wanted to wear it, or someone in my family wear it, I would actually put, you know, the cups that you find, not for bulk, but just, you know, to be a bit more discreet, that you can actually buy in like haberdashery stores. I have seen them in Spotlight, for example, but you could just use an old bikini. I have so many sitting in the cupboard that I will just use those, just, you know, cut them out and then pin them and sew them on this. And I would actually add something to the bikini bottom as well on the inside to make sure that, you know, you were comfortable when you were wearing it. So as I said, I didn't go to that length now because I'm not sure if anyone will wear it. And no, it's not a waste that I've made this bikini, because I've always wanted to make one. So now I can say I've crocheted a bikini, which is awesome. Now in this book here, I did start the pattern. And this is as far as I got, guys. There was no way I was going to be able to make it because, I don't know, I just couldn't get past the wording. So let me just very quickly show you this book. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it is from, it's an Australian publication. And it's a beautiful, beautiful book. Now let me show you the bikini that I was going to try to make. And you never know, maybe in the future. It is so, so pretty. It is filet crochet, and I thought, you know what, when I actually started making it, I would have had to use a smaller hook because it is a little bit too holey for my liking for a bikini. But let me just show you some other makes in here. So they continued with the granny square, or the motif as they called it in the 70s. So there's a beautiful top there. Very, very pretty. And that says it's from 1971. And then the toys came into the scene, which is so awesome. This is from 1978. How gorgeous is he? Little teddy bear. And then it also has some other, you know, for children. You can make some animal caps. These are from 1978. Aren't they gorgeous? There's actually some more in here. Look at that. Oh my goodness. We have a variation of, like, you know, the cat beanie and things like that now. But children could actually wear those because there's a cutout for their face. Almost like a balaclava. And yeah, it was the start of all these amazing, amazing things for children, including toys and fun dress-up caps. Or even just to keep their heads warm. Didn't have to be dress-up. And here's a nice, like a bucket hat from 1973. So it was included more and more, like the crochet was more evident in our wardrobes, and also started to, you know, be part of the children's toy collections, not just like rag dolls and things. Now they were getting crocheted items, which is amazing. So that's what I made, guys. And I did use a 4mm hook, if I didn't mention, for the bikini. But if I was to make the filet crochet, I'd definitely have to go down a few hook sizes. But I don't think that's going to happen, so don't worry about that. Anyway, so that's it. Now, very important, what are we going to do now? Talk about your entries. So get your pen and paper, guys. You need to have something to jot down wherever you do it, whether it be on your phone, your tablet, or old school like me, pen and paper. Write down the numbers, or I should say the number that you want to vote for, because this is where the fun begins. And I just want to thank each and every one of you that took the time to create something for this cow and for sending it in. I'm so excited that we have 18 entries for the 1970s. And I also want to thank each and every one of you that's a cheerleader. Without you guys, we couldn't do it. So everyone that has, you know, come along to enjoy, to see everyone's makes, to ooh and ah, even get some inspiration of your own. You might want to create some of these yourself, because there is a great variety of things here. But most importantly, please do vote. We'll have until, let's see, a week from now. So today is the 10th, as we said. So the 16th. So Saturday, the 16th of November 2024, voting will close. And then shortly after that, I'll bring the reveal video of who made what and also who the winner was for September. So let's get started with our very first make here. So this is a beautiful 1970, oh, here we go. This is number 1. Very important that you see that that is number 1. Now this is a 1970s a blanket that's inspired by the neon colors. Now here is the blanket, how it looks complete, the whole, but I'll show you up close the stitches and the colors while I read out the little blurb. So the neon yellow and orange and neon multicolored yarn that's got hot pink in it as well as neon green. Now that one there, the multicolored one, oh my gosh, all the colors are awesome, is by Red Heart, is a Red Heart yarn called Day Glow. How gorgeous are those colors? And here we are here, guys. So that is entry number 1. Take note of that. Now entry number 2 is another beautiful blanket. Again, taking inspiration. So there's number 2, and I'll pull it out a little bit so you can see it, you know, how in its entirety. So this is a C2C blanket inspired by the 1970s colors. I'll put it like that a little bit. Now, the person who made this tells us that the mushrooms were a popular print on the canisters or tins back in the 70s. So that was number 2. Now, the third one is another beautiful blanket. Now, this person here, so there's number 3, is crocheting a blanket that's incorporating popular stitches from each and every decade. So 50s, 60s, and now we have the 70s. So I'll show you them up close. And the stitches that were very popular in the 70s were the V-stitch. So there's a row of V-stitch, and then it's alternating with a row of shell stitch. So let me bring that up to you very, very nice and close. And the colors are gorgeous too, very much the 70s. So that was number 3, and now we're up to number 4. So this is another beautiful blanket that's inspired, so number 4, inspired by the colors of the 1970s, and it's made using plush yarn. So let me bring it up nice and close. Excuse me. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, number 5, so here we are, number 5, guys. Let me bring up the little tile. Isn't that gorgeous? This is a beautiful wall hanging. Absolutely love it. And the inspiration is the colors from the 1970s. So there we go, project number 5. And then we have project number 6, which is this one, the person who made this says, this is a blast from the past, so number 6. This is a granny square from the 1970s YouTube tutorial, which is called Crochet 70s Vintage Daisy Flower Square by Stitching with Liz. A Neff crochet hook was used and 4-weight yarn from this person's stash. Excuse me, guys, I need a little tiny sip. Decaf coffee, in case you're wondering. Now, number 7. Oh my gosh. So this is number 7. Who doesn't love the doll dresses, right? And look at that. She's got a little hat as well. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, this person tells us they've crocheted a Barbie outfit using lovely green and gold colors were quite the trend in this person's parents' home in the 1970s. And that's where they drew the inspiration for the colors. Absolutely love it. Beautiful doll's outfit there. Excuse me. Now we're on to toys. So look at this gorgeous Hulk Lovey. And the inspiration was the colors of the decade, the 1970s. He is gorgeous. He will make someone very, very happy. So that was number 8. And number 9 is a beautiful little amigurumi fox. And the inspiration is the colors from the 1970s. And the pattern is from the book Amigurumi Friends by All From Jade. So there we go, number 9. I hope I said number 9 in the beginning, guys. That one was definitely number 9. So number 10 is Hello Kitty. So the Japanese company Sanrio first created Hello Kitty in 1974. And the person who made this Hello Kitty said they had a lot of fun making her. So number 10. And then we have number 11. Look at these little cuties. Oh my goodness. So this is Bianca and Bernard Mouse from the film The Rescuers. And I believe this is this person's one of their favorite movies. They used Aran weight yarn and 3.5 millimeter hook. So that was number 11. And now we have number 12. Now, number 12 has a story. And look at that. So number 12, The person who created this one says, "May I introduce you to Bagpuss? He is a saggy old cloth cat that was taken to a lost or broken toy shop by Emily, a little girl." And let me show you the back. Look at the detail in the striping. That would have taken ages. Now, this was a TV series that was started or aired on the 12th of February 1974, made by Peter Furman and Oliver Postgate. Let me pop the front again for you. The yarn used was Yarn Smith Create. The colors are pinkberry and cream. 3.5mm hook, and the pattern is from the Crochet Now magazine, number 51. So that's number 12. Absolutely gorgeous. Wait till you see this, guys. I don't know about you, but I was definitely a Kiss fan, and here is Kiss, the band in all their glory, number 13. Now, the person who created this says that Kiss are their partners and son's favorite band. The pattern was purchased on Etsy from Monchu Amigurumi and Crochet. It took about 50 hours to complete these 4 amigurumi Kiss dolls. And the person who created this says that they love how this cowl has everybody making different items, but it's all linked to the same era. Isn't that great? That's what I love about it as well. Now, number 14, here we go here. And I have an inspiration card at the back for you. So number 14, this person says they were inspired by the 1970s color palette. Let me show you that just for a moment, then I'll bring you back to the vest. So 70s, right? Absolutely love that. In actual fact, Steve's mum's kitchen looks like this. It's all oranges and greens and browns. I love it. Her home was built in the 70s. So number 14, as we said, inspired by the 1970s color palette, popularity of vests during this decade. The yarn used is Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn for both the variegated and the solid color yarn. There we go. So that was number 14. Now number 15, we're getting into the wearables as you just saw. Look at this color, these colors, guys. So this is number 15. I'm going to pull it back and then I'm going to pull it forward for you and show you all the way down, and then I will talk to you about it. So in the 1970s, so this person tells us that in the 1970s, they were in high school and they made their first crocheted garment. It was a granny square vest with large granny squares on the front and the back. So they used this as inspiration to make a 2020 style granny garment. So this Hexy Granny cardigan by Fiber Flux is made by Lime Brand Mandala Ombre Yarn. What a great story. Awesome. Love the colors. So that's number 15. And then number 16 is another wearable. And where is my note for that, guys? Here we are here. So this is number 16. I'm going to show it to you from the top all the way down to the bottom. And we also have a back view. So there we go. Look at the detail. I love the colors. So let me just bring it to the front for you. While you look at it, this is number 16. There we go. And this is a chevron cardigan. A chevron cardigan, and the person has had this pattern for a while. It is a McCall's Super Book Knit and Crochet from the 70s book. That's where the patterns come from. And it is a chevron pattern which was very popular in the 1970s. You can really see it on the back. Look at that, guys. The yarn was just from this person's stash. Now they did adjust the pattern slightly so that the front, they extended it a bit and around the neck, so the width of it, by adding a border. And they did say that the pattern called for ties, so they put some tassels on the end of their ties. Very, very pretty. So that was number 16. Now number 17 is another wearable. And this is a crochet jumper. And the inspiration is the colors of the 1970s. And then lucky last is a knitted dress. And the inspiration, once again, is the colors of the 1970s. Very, very pretty. So that's it, guys. don't envy you having to make that decision, which one you're going to vote for as your most preferred make. If you need to watch this video again, by all means do so. I would certainly be pausing it and zooming in, because there is so much detail. I hope that the photos do it credit. So when I do have them on the iPad, that's something I do. So that's something I suggest you do. But you might have just fallen in love with something, or just all of them. But please just vote. It's just a little bit of fun. So that's it for today. That's a wrap. Seriously, guys, I cannot believe how many gorgeous makes we've had. I can't believe we can tick the 70s off. And now we're working on the 80s. The 80s is an amazing decade, as we all know. And I know that a lot of you love it, whether you lived it or not, like lived through it or not. I certainly did. They were some of my best years. I was in my early 20s, late teenage years, early 20s. So it was amazing. Lots of fun memories made there. So I hope you're all keeping well. Take care, and until I see you all very, very soon, get your crochet hooks out. We've got a project to make. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.